Hello everybody, and welcome back to Cooking with UIN 13. So, a lot of you will be wondering, why is he wearing a cowboy hat? Well, chefs have hats, but I don't have a chef hat. And I just want to be professional, so this is my chef hat. So, shall we continue? Today we're making a traditional dish, which is the white trash ramen. Let's get started. Your basic starting staple to making ramen is ramen. We've got ramen. Cool. Now, a lot of people just eat ramen like that. Well, personally, I think it's disgusting. I don't like the taste of wrappers. I unwrap my ramen before I eat it. And I put it in a bowl, and I put boiling water in the bowl. But, as well as that, I don't know, I just kind of like to add things to it. So for our meat today, we're going to be using meatballs. I usually do shrimp or pork or steak, but all I have today is meatballs. I'm very low on ingredients lately. I've been cooking a lot. Also, toasted pine nuts I think are great. Adds a crunchy contrast to the rest of the dish, which is rather soft, and the meat adds a warm contrast, which just makes it taste great. The cheese will be cubed, which goes in just for the different kind of flavor. And the egg goes on top, makes it look all pretty. And yeah, there we go. So let's get started. So you get your pot of boiling water and turn the stove on, which I can legally use now. Well, not legally, but I can actually use the stove now. I'm happy. So while that's boiling, an important part of every meal is its presentation. So we're going to be putting our meal today in a classic, I'm going to say Chinese, but it was probably made in America, bowl. And we'll be eaten with oriental chopsticks, of course. Very nice flower designs on the end. We're also going to be making tea to go with our ramen, because you don't drink ramen with green tea soda. No, you don't do that. You drink it with the traditional drink. So, once the water boils, I'll get back to you. Alright, so for me, an important part of making ramen is to make sure that the noodles aren't too long, because then everything gets sticky. So you go ahead and you cut your noodles out. Take the big pack, set it aside. First thing you're going to need is the flavor packet. Now a lot of people think putting in the flavor packet is cheesy. I sort of agree, but it does make it taste better, so I'm going to put it in. Of course, I can't open it for some reason. I always like to pour it in the very bottom first, so the water completely boils and simmers it, and it mixes in with the noodles. So now, I don't like my noodles too long, so I wouldn't just pop this whole thing in there. I typically divide it in half. And yes, they do break and crumble everywhere. And then I divide each one of these in half. Roughly. That way, it's a lot more even, and then when the noodles actually melt and they're like fluent, they're liquidy, they're not too long, and they don't mix up with the other ingredients too much. So let's go ahead and pour our water in. And we'll let that sit and simmer for the duration that it takes to prepare the rest of our meal. Alright, so I put my cell phone down, so maybe I can make this video a lot faster now. That's so insulting. Anyway, so we cut out our meat. Cut directly along the keep frozen sign, so we won't remember. And of course you want your hands washed before you touch raw meat. I like everything in even numbers, so we're going to use 8 meatballs. So this is just like a normal sized bowl, so we don't want to overwhelm it too much. So these chunks are way too big. What we're going to do is we're going to simmer them and probably either use the wok or the microwave, and then we're going to cube them after they're done cooking, because it's going to be a lot easier to cut them. Alright, so while that's all getting prepared, we are going to start on making our tea. So first, obviously, pour in the boiled water. Now my water is, that's the microwave. My water is slightly less than boiled because I don't like super hot tea and I don't like adding milk to my tea. So we're just going to use some basic green decaffeinated tea because it is late at night and I want to sleep, like when I'm done eating. So there you go. And then when your meal's ready, your tea should probably be ready as well. So now that the meat has been cooked in your method of choice, as long as it's not too hot to the touch, move it over to the cutting board. Take an unserrated knife, make sure it's clean, and proceed to cube the meat. Cube means cut into 4 pieces for those of us who don't know. And if it's a rather large slice, then you can do cut into 6 pieces, just for good measure. Because you don't want something more than what really should be mixed up with noodles. You want it to just be a little bigger than what you would expect from a noodle plate. So it's a surprise that it's there, and it's a pleasant surprise, but you don't want it to be overwhelming to the point where the person chokes on it because they weren't expecting it to come out of the noodle dish. That would not be good. Unless you want to kill the person, in which case that would be good. But I don't want to do that because this is for me. So, one thing that really irritates me about ramen is broth. We are not making soup. We are not making stew. There is no broth in ramen. So you pick it up, take it over to the sink. And this is going to be hard to do with one hand. But you drain all the excess water, trying to not let any noodles fall out of the bowl. With the water gone, we have more room for the noodles to just condense, and we have more room for everything else that's going to be added to it. And I don't know, it's hard to pick up water with chopsticks, so there's no point in it being there. It'd be so bad if I dropped the camera right now. Okay, let's put you back in the bowl. Okay, so bring that back over, and we'll throw our meat into it. Okay, so now that we have our water drained, let's go ahead and push our rest of the ingredients into the bowl. So I always start off with the meat, and yes, a couple things fell to the side. And that is my phone. I will answer that later. And I don't know, you kind of want to mix in all the ingredients as they go in, just so nothing's overwhelmed in one particular place. And that's also why you want the noodles short, because they mix a lot easier. Next we'll do pine nuts. And normally you would add like a vegetable, to complement the color contrast. But I didn't feel like making one, so I didn't. So it's going to be a rather bland color, but that's okay. It's going to taste great. That's what matters. So you stir that in. And I decided not to throw in the cheese because I think it's too much for one dish. So here's the fun part. It's time to get artsy. So you get your egg. You take your egg. And I have a grated slicer. Here's the fun part. This is just a basic wire slicer. So you throw your egg in there. Now you've got nice sliced bits. You arrange them in whatever pattern suits you. I like the center fold pattern, or the side fold pattern. it complements the organization of the dish rather nicely. So there you go. You've got your ramen. It looks beautiful. It would look better with some greens as veggies, but it's okay. It's great as it is. So there you go. That's how you make ramen. See ya. So, here is your ramen platter. And my cat is going crazy next to me. So, you've got your ramen, you've got your oriental tea, and I threw in some previously made sliced herbed bread, which it's super crunchy, which is a great contrast because this is really excuse me, because this is really soft and it goes down real easy, and the crunch just makes a great impact on it. And then the tea obviously is hot, and there's a variety of hot and cold in here. The eggs are cold, the meat is hot, the noodles are warm, this is cold. So, shall we? Tastes good. I am a huge ramen fan. I can't tell you how much I eat it. Delicious. See you guys later. So, turns out once I'm done filming, we actually do have a chef hat. I will remember that for next time. Yeah.